Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live episode of the Modern Lending Podcast. I'm Alec. We're going to be talking about local marketing today. If you've been following along, we are on our second episode of local marketing. We've hit branding, we've hit digital marketing, and now we're going somewhere where the internet can't go. We're going into our communities. We're going into the meat with our people, our friends, our families, our sphere. And we're going to talk about what local marketing looks like today with the one, the only Bill Gaylord.
With the real world.
Let's go. What's up, Bill? Good to see you, my dude.
All right. Exactly. So, always good to hear your voice, man.
Oh, man. Look, your studio, I've got studio envy, like massive envy. I love your setup. And I wish we were talking digital today because you've got such a great vision of that. But for everybody that's hanging out, first of all, I see you guys joining in. Thank you. Please drop a comment. Say hi. We want to interact. Make this fun. There's value in it for you guys out there. But at the same time, Bill, I'm really excited about our conversation. So for those of you that don't know Bill Gaylord, this guy is a mortgage icon. He's known as the most interesting man in mortgage. You just got to own it, Bill. It's incredible. Okay. This is a guy who has continued to push the envelope with his team, continued to innovate and evolve. Bill, you've been in the cycle in this game for a long time, but you're also like pushing into new space with it. Like you're not satisfied with just doing business the old way. And so I'm really excited to talk to you today about local marketing. Because I know local marketing is big in your bag forever. You've been passionate about serving your community, and I want to frame up for everybody the definition, my definition of local marketing, and why I want Bill to talk about it today. My definition of local marketing has evolved. Local marketing is no longer bus stop benches and shopping cart ads and any of that stuff that is kind of old school, traditional. It's not advertising in newspapers or putting yourself in a publication. Local marketing is about serving your community, period, end of story. That's my definition. And so, Bill, you are the man on this. And so to kick us off, I want to go back a little bit before we get into like some of the fun stuff you're doing now.
Sure.
One of the things I'm most impressed with, and I want you to share why you did this and what's going on with it, is you started a foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is incredible because it just shows your passion for the community, your passion to give back when you're blessed. And so first, what is this? What did you start? Why did you start this? And what do you do with it? When did you start it too?
You know, so Sam and I have been, working together for 12 years, and about 5 years in, we've had, very fortunate success. We've been, we work hard, but we've had great success. And it was like, man, we gotta give back to the community. I did something back in Tucson when I worked in Tucson for many, many years. And we had a school bus of underprivileged children come to a Payless shoe store. And they came in and it was just incredible to see these kids come in to actually go buy shoes. Some of them have never had shoes, brand new shoes. It's always hand-me-downs, or the shoes were too small and their toes are in the shoe like this, or they're too big. They're like blinky shoes. Yeah. And now they got to get in there. They got to jump. They got to run. They can jump higher, faster, all that kind of stuff. Even a pair of socks was so cool. So we said, you know what? We got to do something here in San Diego. And we started at that time what was called Gaylord Hansen Shoes. That was 7 years ago, going on 8. And we've had many shoe events. Most of the shoe events that we had were at the local schools that needed help. And then we've done a lot of stuff with military schools, go on base to the military, of the enlisted. And man, it's so much fun. Converse shoes, a couple of pair of groovy socks, a backpack, and a t-shirt. And it's just a full day event that we had. And we do it as many times as we can. We've given out, 5,000 Converse shoes and all that stuff. And it's been fun. And then it's evolved now, Alec, to what's called GH Community. So it started out as Gaylord Hansen Shoes. And it's now, because we do so much more, it's come into GH Community. And we've got an executive director on our team. That's all she does. She's out in the community all day long. Jessica Zaragoza, she
Yep.
is just this, as you know her, she's just this free spirit, crazy lady that
No, she's
just
amazing.
doesn't stop.
Amazing.
She's like the Energizer Bunny, and she's
Well,
out there all the time.
this is what I wanted to highlight and let everybody understand. So instead of putting your brand onto shopping cart ads, and I'm going to keep teasing that because there's still people doing that, and I don't know what's going on. You decided to take that money, create a foundation, and start giving back to the community. And so I want to highlight a couple things you said. So the shoe event. I mean, I'm looking at your community website, and I'll show this in a minute, but you've been doing this. You've done this shoe event, it looks like 6-7 times.
Yes.
Where you're giving shoes away to underprivileged. And I'm telling you right now, everybody, if you're not paying attention, the impact that Bill has and his team, of course, on that community is creating unbelievable brand connection to the Gaylord Hansen team in the community. I mean, you cannot forget that. But you didn't stop there. So let's talk about what you're doing with military. So break down some of the stuff you're doing with the military in the front line.
Yeah, so we just saw a need. I mean, San Diego is a big military area. There's a lot of different bases here, and the enlisted, man, they're kind of living on that poverty level. They have children, and there's these elementary schools that are on base or close to base. So we said, let's do the events for the military, the enlisted, and so we go on site to the elementary schools. We bring all the shoes in and everything, and it's been just a blast. But Jessica, we have a foundation board that gets together on a monthly basis, and we kind of figure out where we want to go next. And Jessica is also involved in so many different communities. She's in with the Support the Enlisted, which is enlisted individuals that may get into financial difficulties and they don't know what to do. So that organization helps them. We provide the bags for just the supplies that they need, toilet paper, toothpaste, just the basics that they need, and they drive through and we give them a bag, and it's branded with the GH community, and we're on there at the bottom as well. But that's fun. Go ahead.
But this is what, like, no, I think this is so understated, Bill. Like, first of all, let me say this for everyone that's listening, and I don't want this to be misconstrued. When I say marketing, local marketing needs to be service to your community, you can't fake it. Like, you can hear from Bill's tone of voice, like he's not going into these bases and delivering support and aid and resources to military people with any ulterior motive involved. I know this, Bill. I know this about you, and you never say it yourself. But you're not going in there like, I'm going to sneak a loan out of these guys, or like, you're actually going in there because you care. And so when I talk about local marketing as a service, you actually have to care. If you fake it, you'll never get any reputational business. It'll never work. So, but what I just absolutely love the fact that you're on base. You're speaking to veterans. They're going to want to buy a house. They're going to want to get information and education. And who are they going to turn to? They're going to turn to you and your team who were there for them. And yet people are still spending marketing dollars in the silliest ways in communities, Bill. So it's incredible. Well,
thank you. And it's funny because, I'm starting to tear up here. I was thinking of the episode that we did with Support the Enlisted. We have a TV show called From Our House to Yours, Alec. And it's really to highlight our great team members. And we highlighted Jessica, and we're at Support the Enlisted. And, we go into the warehouse of Support the Enlisted, and there's like 1,000 bags, red and blue bags that are in there that are ready for people to drive through. And I'm looking at Jessica and I'm going, holy crap, what are you doing here? This is unbelievable. And it's just, and in the episode, I started bawling, I started crying because it's so much fun to do. And we're not expecting to get it back. We do it because we believe it's the right thing to do. If business comes in some point in time, that's great, because you know what, Alec, it's okay if the business does come in at another period of time, because then we can actually give more back. That's really what we want to do. So we're very lucky, very fortunate, and it's been great, and it's only getting better. We got, she's on the 52nd Battalion Marines. I can't remember the exact name of it, but she's up there. There's spousal coffees that we sponsor and support. And it's just a ton of fun with Jessica. It's always changing, and she's got such a big heart. It's awesome.
So, Bill, I'm going to take you off the stream for a second, and I'm going to showcase your website for a second and let you reboot your screen. Because, my friends, this is what I got to share with you guys, and I'll take this overlay off. This is what I'm talking about. So let me share the GH community. So this is the community site right now. This is the stuff he's doing. So when we talk about Gaylord, like the shoe event, you can see right here, 2012 event, 2013 event, 2014, 15, 16, 17. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's incredible what this organization's doing. And I'm telling you right now, because Bill would never admit to this stuff, military frontline stuff. My friends, this is building human connection. This right here is building dramatic human connection. And I absolutely love it. Bill, I'm so proud of what you're doing with this organization. I just showed them your shoes, the military frontline stuff. You even have a community restoration thing on here where you're with Habitat for Humanity and I Love a Clean San Diego. Share a little bit about what those mean.
Yeah, we are recently involved in Habitat for Humanity. And unfortunately, that project we started about a year ago, and we were going to be part of that whole, build process. But because of the pandemic, it's been delayed. That's now coming up. And I'm not sure what the new date is coming up on that, but we're so excited. That's such a great organization. And then the clean, we've got the Be Kind Buddies, which we're involving little kids. Oh. You talking?
Yeah, I was saying it's so good, dude. I love the Be
Kind buddies that are going out and cleaning the ocean or cleaning the beaches. Yeah, that's great.
Well, and see, for everybody that's paying attention, this is what I'm talking about. This is local marketing. This is brand building. This is community driving stuff. And so I'm not telling everybody that's listening on this that you need to go start a foundation. If that's in your heart, go rock and roll. But what I am telling everybody is this is massively accessible for you to do. You can get off your butt and go do this right now. I mean, would you agree, Bill? What would you add?
Oh, 100%. And what I would say is getting involved. You don't have to start a foundation. You don't have to do anything. But if you get involved in these organizations, you find something that you're passionate about, and you give your time. It doesn't always have to be money, but you give your time and you help these organizations. Man, that you just get recognized, and it just comes from your heart. It's awesome, and it just creates that relationship and getting into the local community, and they think about you. So it's a really good thing to do, just getting involved.
So I wanted to kick off the podcast with that conversation, Bill, because it's so foundational. It showcases who you are as community leaders, and it creates so much goodwill and connection to the people that you're serving. So number one, that's amazing. But let's talk about some other fun stuff here for a second. Sure. So you've inspired me on several different areas, and I want people to hear this because I think they can incorporate it into their business strategies and leverage being local. So talk about your pre-COVID, obviously, and we're looking to get back to pre-COVID again here as the vaccines roll through. But talk about your realtor sanctioned events. Talk about your VA homebuyer seminars. Share those two events and what they would mean and what you would do.
Yeah. So pre-COVID, what we would do is, by the way, Alec, I want to just say you have to continue to evolve. It's just, you got to move, you got to shake, you got to continue to get better and better and better. I turned 60 about 6 months ago. And you know what? I'm more passionate now than I ever have been. How do I get better? How do I improve? How do I stay up to date? How do I stay relevant? So if you can continue to do that, with that passion, you got to change and evolve and move. So pre-COVID, we would have what's called BBMs, Building Business Monthlies, and we would invite in our realtor community that would come into our office. We have a great education area. We'd have big screens, and then we would have a topic for that particular month and talk about that. And then it was great because it was a kind of essentially a networking event for realtors as well. And they see each other and they see that they're using us and, oh, you use those guys and this. So it was almost a little bit of a commercial as well. So we would invite our existing agents, but we would also invite agents that had never used us, but we wanted to have them there. Then we would have some, I want to get into some happy hours, and
Yeah.
some of the happy hours that we did, we would go to a local brewery. We would invite the last 6 months of clients that
I
we had
love,
just closed loans with, right?
I
We
love this.
invited all them, and then we would go to the realtor and say, hey, guess what? Mr. Smith that you closed 3 months ago is coming to our happy hour. Do you want to come to the happy hour? So it would be kind of that whole happy hour. And then when you combine all that together, it was just a ton of fun. And we had, great success with those. And it's just building that camaraderie, community, and all that. So that was a very good thing.
Bill, I want to highlight it because it's so good. I love the fact that you would throw a happy hour for your past clients. I love it so much because so many people send their clients a bottle of wine, if anything, but they're not driving real community. And you're building community with your clients, and then they get to meet the other clients of yours. And you're like, hey, by the way, this guy's this doctor, or this guy's this CPA. You should meet this guy. But that's incredible community development. That's intentional, and you're taking that money and you're reinvesting it into building community. Bill, that's not be understated. That like people don't get this. I want every loan officer to like wake up and like realize I have such an opportunity ahead of us in my local market. Just start doing that stuff.
And we can't wait to do it. It was also funny because when we get a client that wanted to come, it kind of like, oh, the other agent was like, ooh, I better go to that happy hour to say hello to them. Or maybe another realtor is going to take away that client for something else, So, we really, that was a lot of fun. We had some great events, and that was good. And then what was the other one that,
VA homebuyer success.
Yeah, the VA homebuyer success. We did those events as close as we could to the military centers, and we would market it as best we could. And we had a email database. We did some of it on social, and they would come in and we would do a VA seminar, invite them in, and go through the whole thing about PCSing. Should they buy? What if they PCS? What's the benefits of it? What's the BAH? All that good stuff that goes in to the VA loan. And man, we had some really good success with that. But it was also interesting that a lot of the people that went to it were actually PCSing out. So we were able to refer those people to the other people in other communities. So it was really good.
Well, this pivots. I want to pivot to my favorite Bill story. So you, during all this evolution, decide to relocate.
Yes.
And this was early on in my relationship working with you professionally. And so you relocate from San Diego, where you've built a ton of a brand, through all these seminars and building business monthlies, and you built tons of connection. And so you're hosting these VA seminars, and vets are packing the room, and you're inviting, you have this big email list, and then you move to Vegas, where you don't know anybody. You don't know a soul from a professional position, and you're just now living in Las Vegas, and you want to dig up some business in Vegas. And so tell me about this burgers and Bill's Burgers, or Burgers and Benefits. Like, what was the build up for this? Why did you do it? It's my favorite story by far.
Yeah. So Burgers and Benefits was a ton of fun. And again, we can't do it right now, but we'll get back to that. But, we connected with a couple of really good VA realtor specialists, realtors, and we talked about putting together what we called Burgers and Benefits. And we went to, and we found out, where did these military guys and gals go to for lunch?
Yep.
And what time do they go? And, how can we get, access to these people? And we essentially found that it was a Five Guys. It was about 1.5 miles away from the Nellis Air Force Base. We set up shop. We got it all branded, with VA Homebuyer Success.
Yep.
And we brought in we had the realtors there, a couple of realtors there. We had a couple of my team members there. And as these people started coming in, if they were in uniform, we would say, we'd like to buy you a burger. Here's this.
Good.
And all you have to do is go talk 3 minutes with this person over here, realtor, just to see if you understand what's going on with the VA benefit and buying a home. And like 90% of them said, oh yeah, a free burger. Yeah, that's great. So it cost us probably about, $10 to $12 per person. And they got a free burger. We visited, of course, with a manager at Five Guys, and they said, yeah, this is great. And so then they started promoting it. And we built a nice little database of future clients, and we've closed a number of them over that time.
I got to recap this, Bill, because for those of people that are missing it, like you stood in a Five Guys, you asked people in uniform if you could buy them a free burger and explain their home benefit, and then they go sit with a realtor. Remind me, wouldn't you go place the order for them?
Well, no. So as they walked up, I was up there. Hey, we'd like to buy a burger.
Yes.
Come on in. Whatever you want. You want a shake? You want fries? All that kind of. You want the works? Go for it. Some people would buy a $20 burger, but anyways, then I'd say while your burger is being made, because it'll take you about 5 minutes. That's all it's going to take. I want you to go over and visit with a realtor over here in this little setup over here, and when your burger comes, we'll bring it over to you and you're done. And we just bought your burger. So that's as simple as it was.
Do you remember the number? Do you remember how many people came through like in the first couple times you did this?
Oh yeah. There was it was like 52 or 53, people that came in and we, and it was interesting because, some people would come that were veterans that were not active duty and they were not in uniform, but they said, are you veteran or military? Yeah, I'm veteran. And they'd come in with their family and we'd, okay, buy these people a burger, so it was just a ton of fun. It's also giving back, getting a free meal, with the potential of helping people get into the market. And as we know, if they bought, a year ago, values are like up here, right? So if you're passionate about really what the marketplace is, what you can do as a mortgage professional to get them and help them build wealth, that's like special stuff, and just be passionate about it.
It's one of my favorite stories, Bill, because it was almost like where do I get business? Oh, but from people. Where are the people? They're eating burgers. Go buy vet burgers and give them some information. And then all of a sudden you're creating goodwill, you're creating connection, you're creating an email list of people that are potentially interested in learning more about this process. You grab some realtors and said, come with me. We're going to sit down and you brought them in. This is local marketing 101. This is learning how to pivot, how to find and build community. And you were doing this in an environment where you knew nobody.
Yeah.
You're like, let's go. Let's start from scratch. Where are the vets? They're at getting burgers. Well, let's go hang out with them. It's my favorite story because it's so simplistic.
Yeah.
And yet,
the other thing is we'd get their emails, and then we'd invite them to the VA Hire Success seminar. So, it was just this whole interconnected thing. It was a ton of fun. I can't wait to do it again when it's open. So
now let's talk a little bit about, first of all, if there's any other cool stories like that you want to share anytime, just share about fun stuff you did locally. But at the same time, we're going to take a little bit of a pivot because there's a digital side to this. And I have to talk about the digital side, even though the power of what Bill's doing at these burger events, at these other events, is he's building connection with that group alone. It's isolated, because that's the group that he's impacting. But now all of a sudden, Bill, and you've been an early adopter of this. My favorite quote was from you on Instagram one time where you said, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. It was perfect because
it still applies, Alec. It still applies.
For everyone listening, no one knows what they're doing. We're all making it up. Like we are all figuring it out at the same time. Like there's nobody out there who's like, yep, I did. No, we're all making it up. And so, now Bill, like share a little bit about what you're doing digitally, because now you have a chance to document these things and showcase them and bring other people in to see what you're doing. What effect has that had? What are your learnings been? Share some of your insights.
Yeah. I want to back up just a little bit because, the last class I took in college was speech. I never wanted to get up in front of anybody. I never really used my hand in high school, in college. It was the last thing I wanted to do was be on stage. But we all have to evolve, and that's where you have to change. And it's a matter of doing it. So do I really want to be in front of the camera and doing all this stuff? And I've started to embrace it. I'm enjoying it, but we've really had to go all in, and we've gone all in on video. We've gone all in on social media. We're starting a podcast. We're doing a video series for education. We are just doing everything we possibly can, because I believe, Alec, that you've got the big organizations, including Loan Depot,
Yep.
that are spending hundreds of millions of dollars on advertising, and we have to somehow differentiate ourselves. And so I want to make sure that we're out there in front of the local people, and we're educating them, and that they know that they've got a local person that can handle their transaction, that has the relationships with the local realtors, because the realtors drive these things. The realtors know other realtors, and if they're getting a pre-approval letter from our team, they know that they can count on that pre-approval letter. So within this multiple offer environment, our pre-approval letter is going to go very, very high, if not to the top of the stack, because we know what we're doing. So we want to try and get that out there in the message.
Well, and this is the hack, so to speak, if you will. When Bill's mentioning going all in on digital, the amazing thing Bill gets to do, and everyone should take a page out of the playbook that you're operating out of, Bill, is you don't have to. You're not short for ideas for content. Like even the show, and you meet the team that you're doing, you bringing on past customers, and you're letting them share their story on your digital platform. And you don't have to make anything up. You don't have to write a script. You didn't have to make a movie. You just said, hey, can you come tell the story about the house that you got, and what it was like, and the feelings you had, and all of a sudden that writes itself.
Yeah.
And so when I say document, I literally mean just document. Like, take the digital and showcase everything you're doing to everybody around you. And Bill, you're right. So let's talk about the pre-qual letter factor.
Can I up 1 second on that?
Yeah, I'll come back. Oh.
Okay. The one thing that I want to say, Alec, is that, while we have studios and microphones and headphones and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't have to be all that. And sometimes maybe we're doing it overboard. Again, like Alex said, we're making this up as we go. You can do so much with just this little thing. By the way, I want to show my Denver Broncos. You can do so much with this little thing that you don't have to have all the fancy gear and the lights and the camera and the action. And, we're doing that because, we just feel like right now it's time to invest in this, and hopefully it'll be the right investment that we make. But I don't know if it will. Maybe it's more authentic, but we're going all in on that. So sorry to interrupt on that.
No, and I'll piggyback on that, Bill, because it's something that is a theme through all this stuff. I mean, people look and see the nice microphones or the nice studio lights and all this stuff, and you have to remind people, it's the content that matters. It's not the format. You could have the best lighting and the best cameras and the best microphone, but if all you're doing is talking about yourself, or if all you're doing is humble bragging, your content won't land the way you want it to land. So, back to Bill's documentation of his past customers, and back to your reputational building, we're in an extremely hot purchase market. It is insane. Deals are coming in over list price all day long. By the way, that's causing downline appraisal issues and all that fun stuff that we're in. But you made a comment earlier that I want to highlight. All the work that you're doing, all the branding, all the community connections, all the realtor support, all that stuff gives you guys authority and credibility. And so share with everybody, like, what are you doing with your pre-quals now to help you stand out? And what effect are you seeing in terms of them being accepted over other deals?
Yeah. So, certainly being in the Las Vegas or the San Diego market for many, many years, the brand itself, they've seen it, they understand it. We're out in the community, they know it, they know that we're solid. And even if they haven't worked with us, they know who we are. But we will always, always, always reach out to the listing agent to let them know that these borrowers are absolutely 100% solid. And so we want them to know that we got it, we've understood it, we've gone through the whole pre-approval process, the underwriting process, all that stuff, so that they know. And that doesn't happen. But we also use a lot of like text video that we send out to the agents, saying, hey, listing agent, just wanted to follow up with you. We did the pre-approval for the Smiths, and they are really solid borrowers. Let us know if you need anything from us. We'd love to get them into the home. Something like that. It's just very simple. And again, it puts that face to a name. It makes it personal. It makes it human, as opposed to just a letter, And then we're helping with contingency removals, shortening those, and just doing what we can to close it fast if we need to close fast. So it's just being proactive.
Dude, it's a differentiator, Bill. It separates you. All this work, all this community building, all of this connection creates an unfair advantage for your customers, because now they go in with your offer letter, your pre-approval letter, and they're going to get their offer accepted over somebody else. And that's an unbelievable advantage in this market. So let me ask you this. What's been your favorite local marketing thing? What's a service thing? What's been your favorite one?
My favorite one is what we do is the shoe event. I mean, I absolutely 100% love that. We take and close down the office. We say, we're out for the day. We'll be available by text, at times, and then we go to the event, and the kids and the family members. And when we go to these military schools, the parents all get involved with it as well. We've got obstacle courses, we got photos, we got backpacks. It's just a blast, and the parents get involved, and it's just a really fun event. I'd highly recommend it.
So for somebody that is getting a little bit inspired by your comments about local marketing and service back, how would you coach them? What advice would you give them?
As we talked a little bit about earlier, Alec, is just get involved, find a local organization, like in San Diego, it's STEPS, support the enlisted. Find an organization that connects with you. It may be dogs, or pets, or whatever it may be, the mentally challenged, it may be, the elderly, who knows? So, but whatever you're passionate about, get involved, get on a board, get on, and give back. And that's what I would say. And then that just leads to other things. You just, and then become one of the people that organizes whatever events, or be the person that's the treasurer, or just be totally involved in that. And that really starts to open your eyes and open the doors for other opportunities.
I'll say this too, Bill, besides the obvious community building and reputation building and brand building that serving the community gives you, I know you'll be the first to acknowledge this too, but it also gives you perspective. It also gives you an unbelievable feeling of value when you give to others and serve others. And so, it's not just about ROI on service. It's also about authentically just the good that comes from it in general. And so, Jonathan, great advice. Just I loved highlighting Bill on this, because stop advertising on shopping carts and go be in service to your community, and your business will do way better. And Alec,
the biggest point there truly is, give without any expectation of receiving.
Yes.
Give from here, give from the heart. And if you give from the heart, it naturally comes back. But just give. And some people won't appreciate it. That's okay. It's their problem. But just give.
To your point, right? You're out there telling vets, can I buy you a burger? And some, I'm sure, were like, no, thank you, crazy dude. I don't want you selling me whatever you're selling me. And you're like, well, look, I'm literally just going to get you a burger. I get it, dude. So there's always that side of this stuff. But, I'll reiterate it. If you try to fake this and say, oh, Bill's right, I should go donate shoes and I'll get loans. No, you're coming from the wrong place in your heart, dude. You will not get the business. You don't get rewarded for that. You get rewarded for being authentically caring and giving and in service. And that turns around and comes back. So, Bill, I have to ask this, even though this steers us off a little bit from local marketing.
Okay.
But your journey into digital and documenting is something that if I have you as a guest, I have to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
Because you already mentioned, that you've been in the business a long time, you threw your age out, and I hear a lot of that social media is not for me, video is not for me, it's not my thing. And you've done American Dream stuff. You've been out and about on video. What's the journey been like? Just coming into social and figuring it out. What's it been like?
It's been, when you go into something new, it's uncomfortable. It's like, oh my God, what am I doing? And even today, I got a little nervous. I'm talking to Alec Hansen. He's the guy. He's the regional manager,
Oh,
divisional manager.
Oh,
And but it's just one of those things where I was talking to my son last night, and he's got an issue, and I basically said, you just have to hit it head on. The unknown is worse than the known, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go full speed ahead. You have to continue to go forward. You're going to screw up. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to look stupid. But if you don't, you're not going to like what the end result is by not doing it, right? And you're going to regret not doing it. And so, the other day we blew up on a national podcast, but you know what? We learned. We got an Ethernet. So hopefully the feed is better today. So we're going to screw up, but you just have to do it to get better. I want to say one other thing. I don't know if we have enough time, but there are those people that live their high school days and they never, ever evolve. Their haircut's the same. They listen to the same music. They put on the same jeans. They never do anything different. Everything stays the same. And in the world that we live in, particularly in mortgage, you have to evolve. You have to change. You have to remain relevant, and just enjoy the ride, and just enjoy the people that you're around, and have fun doing it. But evolve. That's truly what I would recommend.
Well, and Bill, you're such a great example of that, because I look back at just our conversation today, and you see, you evolving into a foundation that started doing shoes that now does 17 different things, from community enrichment to military support. You look at your Building Business Monthly, and then into these happy hours for your customers. And then when COVID hit, you guys didn't even miss a stride. You went right, you're like, I guess I'm going digital. And you just started planning and figuring it out. And it's such great advice, dude. Just you have to take it on.
Yeah.
It's going to be uncomfortable, but it'll get more comfortable.
It is. It gets more comfortable every day. And I'm actually embracing this now. I got to get better at my Insta stories and all that kind of stuff. Robert's always on my butt for about that. But, I will, and I'll get better, and it's not going to be perfect. I always look at it as it's a marathon. It's a journey. It doesn't all have to be done today. As long as you're building day by day, that's all that you need to do, is just build on what you have. It'll get there.
So, Bill, let's end with this question here. You always have such wisdom about this. You're a student of the game, which I love, because you never pretend like I mastered it. Even though you're massively successful, your team does unbelievable, like top numbers in the industry, which you never brag about. So what would you tell somebody who is inspired a little bit to get local, inspired a little bit to get digital? What advice would you give somebody right now as we wrap down here?
Well, my advice is really that all the little things add up, and you have to continue to do all the little things to make the big wow. And you just have to remain relevant as time goes on. You have to differentiate yourself. You have to have some uniqueness that makes you better than what's out there right now. Whether it's you're just the smartest guy about mortgage interest rates, the smartest guy about putting a loan together, the underwriting guidelines, whatever it is, just do it. Just go out there and be the best you can, and differentiate, and enjoy the journey, and smile. I mean, people want to smile most of the time. There's so much negative Nellies out there right now that we just have to enjoy the journey, and we want them to enjoy the home. The one last thing that I want to say is focus on what the buyer really wants. And the buyer really wants the home. Okay. They don't want a mortgage. Nobody wants a mortgage, but they want the home. So if you can focus on building rapport by talking about the home that they're going to get, that is a very good thing to focus on. So, enjoy the journey. It's a marathon. Keep, plugging along and make it happen.
Bill, thank you, dude. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your authenticity. Thank you for the impact you have on your local communities. It's just so inspiring. And for all everybody out there watching, as we wind down the Modeling Podcast today, do one thing after this podcast. If you're any inspired at all, go find what you're passionate about and serve the people in that passion. Go find a place to serve. It'll make you a better person. Bill, any final comments?
Yeah, my final comment is, Alec, you inspire a ton of people. You make people better. You have really changed the mortgage world and what we see right now. Keep inspiring people. Keep growing it. I know you. I don't know if you reached 40 yet, but you got like 50 years experience in this thing with all the loans you've done. But just keep doing it and keep driving forward. And we appreciate all you're doing for the industry.
Appreciate you, dude. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next time on the Modeling Podcast. Have a wonderful day. Gaylord out.
Out.